I was feeling super uncomfortable in my body. I was $30,000 in debt. I was grieving from the loss of my dad. I had no self-love, very little self-worth. From this moment moving forward, I'm going to vow to find a way, a tool. It all came back to subconscious reprogramming. I lost 30 pounds. I became a millionaire at 30. If you're growing lemons and you want to grow oranges, you don't trim the lemons off. We get to the root, we rip out the root, and then we plant an orange tree.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Let's hop in. So debt. No one wants to have debt. But why do people have debt if they don't want debt? There's some sort of subconscious hidden advantage, like in your belief system, that is attracting the debt. The only reason why you have something is there's some sort of hidden advantage.
What on earth would that be with debt though?
No, I have it.
Oh gosh.
This is going to break a lot of brains, but...
Hi everyone, welcome back. Can't believe we're in a new year. This is very exciting. We actually have so many amazing episodes planned this year. So whoever has taken a break from the Curve podcast, you guys didn't go back and listen to any catalog episodes and you've been missing our content, do not worry. We have got some amazing stuff planned, and today's episode is such an awesome way to start the year. So we are kicking things off with Marley Rose Harris. This episode is going to be particularly useful if perhaps 2025 did not go to plan. Maybe you had a mood board like me and achieved almost nothing on that mood board. I don't know if everyone has already listened to our kind of wrap up or learnings of the year last year, but I went back and had a listen and my God, it was quite confronting. For me, 2025, there was a lot of wins, a lot of things I'm really proud of, but there were also a lot of things that I wish had gone differently. And this particular conversation with Marley was all about how we can reframe our mindset and actually get what we want this year. And it wasn't just woo-woo chat about it. We actually practiced some of her key, almost like teachings live within this episode with Vic and I. So I really hope that it's a conversation you learn heaps from, feel super inspired heading into 2026. If you want to go a step further, which you most likely will after listening to this, because Vic and I both, as soon as the conversation finished, said to Marley, excuse me, hi, how can we work with you? So we're doing a giveaway for anyone who would like to work with Marley one-on-one. We're giving away a session for you to access that. It's worth $2,000 and someone from our community is going to win that, as well as whoever wins and a friend to join Marley Rose's online course. So good luck to anyone that wants to enter. You can find all of the competition details on our Instagram at The Curve Platform, or you can find a link in the podcast show notes.
Just a heads up, this episode will cover themes of loss and grief, and it may stir up some pretty tough emotions for some of you, so we encourage you to listen with care. We have the beautiful Marley Rose Harris here. Great last name, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Victoria Harris.
You two long lost cousins.
I know. I mean, maybe. But anyway, for those of you people that don't know you, can you just give us a bit of background of who you are, where you've come from, what you do?
It's such an intense question, isn't
I
it?
know.
Who are you? In 3 sentences. But
I went to an event actually a wee while ago and they said, I want you to go and introduce yourself but not say what you do.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm a daughter.
I have no identity outside of my work.
Everybody was stumped.
It's like when you're out at a bar and just the worst line ever is, what do you do for work?
Yeah.
So you're trying so hard to dance around it, but it is, you got to get creative.
Yes. Anyway.
So.
Sorry.
No, I love these. I love all these segues. I'm going to go on many of them. So, yes, my name is Marley Rose Harris. I'm like, wait, how do I say what I do without saying what I do?
No, you can say what I do.
So, I'm from a very small town. It's literally 300 people. So, I grew up just desiring more, desiring to live in sunshine, live in the ocean. So I feel like my first why was honestly just escaping Canada, escaping this small town and creating this life where I could work from my laptop from anywhere in the world. And so that's kind of how this journey started. And I read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss and made it my Bible. So I started my first business honestly just out of this. I'm from such a small town and people would come up there from the city. And so people needed websites. I was like, look, you can make websites and you can attract people from the city. Look at this opportunity. And everyone's like, what? They're like mom and pop shops. And I was like, And it just honestly, it wasn't, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. Both my parents were entrepreneurs. And I was like, hell no, like I want consistent payments. I want a corporate credit card. I want the corporate car. I wanted consistency. But then
really went for the opposite.
yeah. And then I took one internship that I got by some grace of God because I had no experience, but all I wanted was a corporate job. And I got this internship. And it took me about a week, not even a week, maybe 24 hours, maybe 3 hours to be like, I never want to work for anyone else. And I was like, dang it. Okay, looks like I have to be an entrepreneur. And so I started this business designing logos and websites for people. And I actually ended up leaving Canada like within the first year that I started it. And I booked a one-way flight to Australia. And I was like, okay, I'm in Australia. Let's just like see how this works. And I was like just getting by. I was living in hostels. I was like, had like 4 people to a room, and I was working on my business, and I thought I was a millionaire. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Growing up in a small town, if I could make $100,000 a year, I would be a billionaire. Like I would have made it. And that was my mindset back then. This is like 2018. Digital nomad like wasn't really a thing yet. I feel like I just saw people doing this online, and I was like, I want to be a digital nomad. And I was like, I'm going to Deloitte. I'm like, okay, bye. Like, I just didn't want that life, and no one understood what I wanted. No one was backing me. Like I was like, digital nomad. Okay. Like that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. And I was like, okay, bye. And anyway, so I left, and while I was in Australia, and I want to say at this point in my life, I was like binge drinking every weekend, blacking out. I had no self-love, very little self-worth. I maybe did like one meditation for like 3 minutes. I had no personal development at all, like negative, to be honest. And so when I was in Australia, I got this job offer, and it was to work at my college that I was actually going to. And they called me and they're like, Marley, I think I had like one vision board at this point because I watched The Secret and I kind of like was getting into it. And I had put my college on my vision board, and they called me and they're like, we want you to run our entrepreneurship center. We want you to do the marketing. Like, can you come back and work it? And everyone said no. My mom said no. Everyone in my life was like, please do not come back. You're going to hate it. It's in the middle of winter. Like, just stay in Australia, do your thing. But I'd never like really connected this before, but this was my intuition speaking. And I was like, I just know I need to go back home. So I flew home, I took the job, and then a week after I was home, my mom called me and my dad had committed suicide. And for me, this was a moment of the impossible just happened. Like if you told me even a year ago that your dad's going to do this, I'd be like, there's no way. Like there's no way, because my dad is the strongest, happiest, like most loved person I've ever met. So there's absolutely no way that he could do something like that. It just didn't make sense. And honestly, it took me a really long time to even accept that that happened. And so in that moment, it was so interesting because when I was in Australia, I met 2 girls in the same way. I complimented them on their tattoos. And I don't usually do that. Like I was actually like super shy. So I wasn't like that outgoing, but I compliment them both being like, that's a really beautiful tattoo. And they both said, thank you so much. It's due to someone that I lost. And I was like, that's so crazy because these are like the happiest, most positive people I've ever met. And they've been through this. Like, how can that be? And in that moment, after the second one, I was like, oh, I'm going to lose someone. And they're showing me that I'm going to be okay. Because like I said, I'm from such a small town. Like this type of stuff like doesn't happen to me. I thought that was just in the movies. So anyways, when this happened, I called my friend and one of the ones with the tattoos. And I said, like, this just happened. Like, what do I do? And she said, Marley, I just don't want this to make you break you. Like, don't let this lose your sparkle kind of thing. Like, don't let this break you. And I was like, wow, for the first time, because I would say up until this moment in my life, this is when I was like 25, I was super depressed, super anxious, using alcohol to numb from pain. I'd done like zero healing. And so I had like nothing that was exciting me and lighting me up except for me starting this business. It was like the first time I felt this feeling of passion and joy and excitement. And it was the first time in my whole life. So I was like, right, I have this Northern Star. I feel like I have like something to give here and something to provide. I have like this purpose. And so I'm not going to let this opportunity break me, or not this opportunity, this moment in time. And so for the very first time, I started healing. And growing up, we couldn't afford therapy. I definitely would have benefited from therapy at a younger age, but we just couldn't afford it. And so I got into therapy because it was subsidized from the government. And so I started for the first time in my life when I was like 25 healing. And I became kind of obsessed with it. Like, I started feeling better, and I vowed to myself at my dad's celebration of life, I spoke in front of everyone that loves him the most. And I said, from this moment moving forward, I'm going to vow to find a way, a tool, so that no one does what my dad did, or no one thinks that that's their only option to end suffering. And again, I didn't know anything, but I went on this journey, and through everything that I was learning, if it was how to manifest a relationship, if it was how to heal my body, if it was how to manifest more money, it all came back to subconscious reprogramming. It all came back to, if you want to change your reality, you have to change your beliefs. Everyone was saying the same thing in every area of life. So it's like, okay, cool. Let me try this out, because I was feeling super uncomfortable in my body. I was $30,000 in debt. I was grieving from the loss of my dad. And I did grow up in a family that was constantly chaotic. My parents weren't fully in love with each other. And I felt like my childhood had a lot of like neglect and sadness. So I was like, I want to heal from all of this. So I started using these tools, and I lost 30 pounds. I became a millionaire at 30. I attracted my soulmate, and really it was not that I worked harder than anyone else. It's not that I deserve it more than anyone else. It was literally that I just started to reprogram my mind. And I found all the limiting beliefs that I had absorbed from childhood, that I'm not enough, that you have to work really hard for money, that in scarcity and inconsistency in all of the areas. And I just use subconscious reprogramming to actually clear those beliefs and create new beliefs and create a new reality. And over time, literally every area of my life changed. And so much so that everyone's like, what the are you doing? Because they're like, you look completely different. And I'm like, I'm just changing my beliefs. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, we're not doing that. Like, I don't even know what that means. And so I created my method called Clear the Fear, which is the most effective way to clear your limiting beliefs and create new beliefs. And not only is my story, but all my clients' stories, I have thousands of stories to tell you guys of people double, tripling their income, manifesting their soulmates, clearing their weight loss journey, like all these things. And it really comes down to, and what I'm like really here to share is that you do not have to settle. You do not have to settle with less. You do not have to believe in scarcity. Like, your reality is just truly a reflection of your beliefs. And so when you change your beliefs, anything is possible. And I'm so happy that we're here today, because I feel like I'm on this like tour of manifesting like all these insane things. So like I'm here like fresh to be like, this stuff like works so well. And like I've just been recently manifesting the most amazing things. And it's truly from just changing what I see as possible and changing what I believe to be true. And on the other side of that, like anything is possible. If I grew up, my parents were poor. I didn't even have my own room growing up. And now the reality that I'm in, it's truly just a reflection of changing your beliefs and taking aligned action. So
holy shit.
And wow.
I have never, in all of the conversations we've had,
been so engrossed
that if you'd stopped talking, I would have had nothing to say.
Same. I know.
Cannot believe.
I was like, don't stop. Like,
I really
going.
Don't even know if I blinked.
I feel like I was transported somewhere.
Yeah, shit. I fully forgot like, we had a microphone.
Come back.
Oh my God. Okay. Firstly, thank you for like
You're
sharing.
You're so eloquent as well. Like I just felt like a bit of a girl crushing, just kind of like.
I think there's so many things that you said before we move on to kind of being proactive and learning from the stuff that you have implemented to move through your limiting beliefs, because I think what you shared about the experience with your dad, firstly, I'm like, oh my God, there's just so many things. When you said you had this feeling and this overwhelming draw to go back and you kind of didn't know, kind of blew my mind that before you'd done any of that reconnecting with yourself, that you were able to listen to that, because I do think for me, there's so much of like societal pressure and fear constantly that overrides my gut. I feel like it's like everyone says, oh, listen to your gut. I'm like, there is a sandstorm in my gut and I have no idea where it's blowing in this direction or this direction, So amazing that in that incredibly pivotal moment you were able to see your family and see your dad and be there when that happened. But also to have then gone through and that be the catalyst for growth, because it's so easy when shitty things happen to you to go into a victim mindset or to feel really confused with where even to start. But I can just tell on the way that you spoke that was the only motivation you needed. It was like you could have run in any direction you chose. And the fact that it was one that now is helping so many people is really amazing. But I'd love to kind of wind back to you mentioned quite a few things about your childhood. What do you think some of your earliest experiences with money or teachings that you've now obviously, I'm imagining, have moved through? Where were you? Can you transport us back to like the types of, I guess, habits or beliefs, particularly around finances and scarcity, that you had as a kid?
I love this question. No one's ever asked me this question. I can paint a full picture because I remember all of them. Like, for example, one time I came home and all the lights were off in my house. And I was like, where's my dad? And I went upstairs. My dad was just like laying in bed. And he was like, I just lost all of our money in the stock market. And I was like, oh my God, like so scared. And I felt like a responsibility to do something or fix something. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, so my mom and dad, an interesting dynamic. It felt like in our family, it was like me and my dad versus my mom and my brother. So my dad would have to hide if he bought me anything, and we'd have to lie to my mom to create this belief of guilt and shame around spending, and this shame of like, oh, I don't deserve this because I have to actually hide it. And then so my dad somehow was able to buy me a cell phone. I don't know how. Like, I don't know. Somehow we like always like just got by. My dad would like make things work. Like, let's say he worked an odd job, and that was the thing with my dad growing up, is he never had consistency in money. So we'd have a job, he'd have a job, and we would be okay, and then it would leave. And so there's this massive inconsistency around money and fear, and always constant fear of like it leaving. And something that's really interesting is money is a masculine energy, and this is going to break a lot of brains, but how you relate to money is how you relate to your father's ability to protect and provide for you, and what his ability and consistency and the trust that you had and his ability to show up for you is how you're going to mirror money. And yeah, so
that is like so mind-blowing. And
can
I
you
actually
say that again?
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, I can already see how that's impacted my view of money. Sorry, say it again.
Yeah. So basically, growing up, you learned how to trust the masculine energy from the dominant masculine energy in your life. So most of it is our father. And even if he's not there, that's also how you relate to money, because then you will constantly fear of it leaving or abandoning you. So however you relate to the father figure in your life, the masculine energy, and how you grew up with that, and your trust in its ability to protect and provide for you is going to directly mirror your relationship to money right now, and its ability to protect and provide from you. You can do, like, if I were to ask you right now, like, how do you trust your father's ability to protect and provide for you growing up, and you write it down, then I ask you money, it's going to be the exact same thing.
It is so interesting because if I look at your dad, and he is all those things. He was really consistent. I wouldn't be surprised if yours is the total opposite actually to mine in terms of what you experienced as a kid and how your dad was with money.
Yeah.
I think that's so bang on with how you would then describe.
Like, I'm like, it'll always be there. It will always be fine. You know,
see,
like that is kind of like
mine
yeah,
is really different.
I didn't believe that at all.
No.
Yeah. Wow. How did you figure that out?
I'm obsessed with money.
Yeah.
Like, I love money. Because when I grew up and I saw all this chaos in my childhood, thank God, by some grace of God, my dad had really wealthy friends. And so I saw them as expanders of what was possible, and they seemed happy to me. So as a very young age, I decided if I have money, then I'm going to be happy. I've learned that the hard way. That's not how that works. But I was so driven from such a young age to make a lot of money. I was obsessed with money because I believed that was my way to love and freedom and safety. Like, everything I was wanting as a child in my family, I thought that money would solve it. So then from a very young age, I became obsessed with money. I became obsessed with learning about money. understanding money. Like I became obsessed with reading all the books, consuming as much as possible because I wanted to understand how to be financially free. And like I'm more energetics and understanding the energy of money and the frequency of money, and not so much like the 3D of money. That just like excited me more. And from that and understanding like the true energetics behind money and becoming a vibrational match for money is how I've unlocked so much wealth and for my clients. And again, I think the two need to coexist. It's just like something that I get so lit up about, and I could talk to you guys for like 5 hours about, is more like the energetics behind money and how to attract it from that lens.
So let's say, hypothetically, there's someone in this conversation who realizes that they have, you know, a less than ideal relationship with money. I know for a fact that I have a scarcity mindset. I have the, you know, the belief that, it, you know, I know everyone says, oh, money comes and goes. I'm like, no, it mainly goes. You know, I remember, I remember the time that I earned, I had a really good salary and I lived in Australia.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, this might be the most I ever earn, rather than,
Oh, wow.
you know, like I've had a lot of moments where I felt really clingy towards it and had the feeling of inconsistency and needing to hoard rather than feel like it can flow in and out. So let's say hypothetically, you know, there's other people no doubt who are listening that, that feel a lack of freedom or fluidity with their relationship with money. I guess just like I wouldn't even know where to start.
Let's hop in. Okay, so what I would get this hypothetical person to do is I would get them to take, this is like so simple. Anyone at home can do this. It's so easy peasy. It's almost going to feel like frivolous, but it's so powerful. And it's the first thing that I did. So I took a piece of paper. I closed the door, put my phone on airplane mode, and I took a piece of paper and I wrote at the top of the page my old money beliefs, because we're already like putting them in the past. And I wrote down everything I believe to be true about money. Spending, saving, investing, receiving, how much I'm able to hold, earn. Like there was a point I couldn't even say the word million. It made me feel sick. Like I was like so like, that's
so would that
so
be like
impossible.
things like, would that be things like money buys me happiness? Like in terms of like tangible examples?
Yeah, tangible examples also would be like, okay, I believe that there's never enough money.
Yes.
I believe that money is inconsistent. I believe that money is going to come and go, for example. Like just writing down everything you believe to be true about money in itself. Okay? So what you're creating right now is your blueprint, which is your money reality. This is like, okay, if we were coding ChatGPT, right? And we want to understand how that AI works, we'd go to the code. And we're like, what the hell? Like this thing keeps writing this thing that we don't want it to do. We don't like fix the ChatGPT. We go to the code of the AI. So we're like finding your brain's code, which is creating the reality. So we write this all down, and then you're gonna have a moment, because I did, where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to write that down, like because it's like I don't want to believe.
I almost don't want to write it down
Yeah.
because I know that it's okay, so confronting.
Yeah. So when this hypothetical person has that moment, we're gonna be like, okay, but the more that I get out, because if it's in here, it's controlling us. And we want to change it, so we have to no one's going to see it, I promise. I'm not going to, like, no one's knocking on the door and being like, but there's so much shame around money in our society. It's so shameful. And I want to, like, open that conversation up, because the more that we shame it, we avoid it. And our brain moves away from pain and moves towards pleasure. So we want to make this fun, easy, like, put on your favorite song, light a candle, like, try to add as much
I'm just
pleasure.
imagining stuff like bawling my eyes out with like Born to Try Delta Goodrem playing in the background, like money is I'm never gonna have any, like just like so tragic.
Then you need to make the result of changing your money story so pleasurable. Because for me, it was like I get to escape winter, I get to live next to the ocean, and I get to be in sunshine all day long. That was so pleasurable to me that I was willing to do hard things to get through it. So you need your why of why you're doing this. For a lot of people, it's like, I want to retire my husband. I want to break free of my 9-to-5 job. I want to be able to travel business class. Like, what's your pleasure that you can focus on, you can have as your main thing that's going to push you through doing these hard things? You need the why, or else your brain's not going to want to do it. And your brain never wants to leave your comfort zone, but your comfort zone is your wealth zone. So the more you're in your comfort zone, the more you're going to stay in this wealth zone that you don't desire. So we need to break free of your comfort zone to break free of and push past your wealth zone to attract more. So you're going to write it all down, and then you're going to do something so simple. You're going to get a new piece of paper, and we're going to write down our new money reality. And we're going to write down the opposite positive belief. So let's say you said there is never enough money. We say there is more than enough money. Okay? But your brain is immediately going to be like, that doesn't exist, because it's
Don't
like,
lie to me.
yeah, don't lie to
I
me.
know
That's
the
not
truth.
true. That's not true.
You can write it down,
Yeah.
but it doesn't change.
So the way to bypass that is we change it into a how or why question. So how is there more than enough money? Because that will go in. Your brain loves to answer
'Cause
questions.
it's like logical.
Yeah.
And it's actually giving it fact rather
Yeah.
than just this like high level idea.
It's like, how is there more than enough money? And then your brain goes, okay, yeah, how is there more than enough money? Because your brain loves to answer questions, and it bypasses your belief system, because you will only answer what you believe to be true. And so if it's congruent, if you have this belief that there's never enough, and then we start saying there's more than enough, it's not going to go in. It's going to completely
This is
dismiss
exactly
it.
the problem I have with like manifesting or even just you know how you can have words of affirmation.
Yeah.
There was a time I had really, 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 really bad health anxiety. And I was working in a job where I was producing these segments where I was having to basically read and find go through all these horrible, heartbreaking stories to try and find someone that deserved some kind of big like thing that we would do for them. Anyway, without going into too much detail, the point was I was reading all these stories about people who are my age who, you know, had serious health conditions or blah, blah. So anyway, it kind of catapulted me into having quite a bit of health anxiety. And so I started with these manifesting type like cards, and one of them was like, I'm happy and healthy, or like my body is working perfectly, but I still had underlying anxiety. I was able to somewhat lift it, but not really change the code, if that makes sense.
Okay, I love this question. Okay, so there's a conscious mind, which controls 5% of your life. And then we have the subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your life. Okay, so you were trying to change something that is in your subconscious in the conscious. So you can't think your way into being like, I'm so rich, if you believe that in scarcity and poverty, right? You can't outthink your beliefs unless you change them in the subconscious, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you were my client, you're coming to me, you have health anxiety. Well, of course, you just reprogrammed yourself into having health anxiety because you're constantly repeating these scary things. So your brain is going to now believe that that is your reality, right? It doesn't matter if you're talking about someone else, your brain takes everything personally. So that's how that manifested. And so in my method, Clear the Fear, we actually get to the root cause of the problem. And I say root cause is because if you're growing lemons, right, and you want to grow oranges, you don't trim the lemons off and then expect to get oranges. You're always just going to get lemons, right? Until we get to the root, we rip out the root, to the tree, and then we plant an orange tree. Only then will you get oranges. So a lot of people try to change their reality by trimming the branches or trying to change it in their conscious.
Oh, I've been pruning for far too
yeah.
long.
Gosh, yeah.
And then they're like,
I'm still getting
nothing's
lemons.
changing. I'm doing all the work and nothing's
Like,
changing.
Gotta put the
Yeah,
city
but that's why
away.
I'm like so passionate, because I'm like, yes, it's because you're not accessing the subconscious. You're not getting to the root cause. And only when do you get to the root cause do things actually change. And so if you're just pruning the hedges, it's not going to change. You're going to keep getting lemons. If you want to change the fruits, you have to change the roots. So then we're going to create a list of how questions. So how is it more than enough? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And the way in which that you reprogram the subconscious mind is through repetition. So you actually repeatedly programmed yourself into something that you didn't want because you were reading it over and over and over. So it caused that negative reality. And we can do the exact same thing for the positive reality. So you're going to have this list, and this is a tool that I have in my app, and it's called neurolinking. So what you do is you're going to read out your list, and this is because people just read affirmations and they think that they don't work, but it's because they're not doing it right. Firstly, they're saying an affirmation that they don't believe, so then it never goes in, and they're not emotionally connecting to it. Your subconscious is in the body, okay? So you're going to read a question like, how is there more than enough money? You're going to read out that ask-formation. I call them ask-formations. How is there more than enough money? And what you're going to do for 17 seconds is you are going to think and imagine a reality that proves that belief to be true. So you may recall a memory where you notice, okay, actually, there always is more than enough money. Like there's always has been more than enough money, and there always is more than enough money. So you believe and you feel that feeling of safety, right? Because that's all your brain really wants, is to feel safe. Or if you're like, Marley, I've never seen that before, there's never been enough, all you need to do is just imagine a situation and imagine a moment that would prove that to be true. So maybe you see your bank account and you can just see the amount that there would always be more than enough. And your brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. This is also called mental rehearsal.
Which is so annoying because it means that all the stupid anxiety thoughts that I have, it thinks are real. You know, like it thinks it's real. Fake, stupid, scary stuff I make up for myself as well as the good stuff you're trying to reprogram. It's just so weird how your brain... But that's why
your body... So anxiety is just a body response for fear, right? It's like, holy shit, there's a tiger chasing after me and I need to run. So your body starts going like this, and actually energy gets sent to your legs to run because it thinks you're in danger. But the thing is, you're not actually...
I'm not a better runner. Amazing. I can't run for more than 12 minutes at a time.
So, but it's really your nervous system is completely in fight or flight.
Yeah.
So once you start to reprogram all those fears and your brain goes, oh, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. That's what the clear the fear method does. It starts to clear all those fears, aka limiting beliefs. And then once your brain will start to relax. That's actually how I lost all the weight because my body was just running in fight or flight and I was just holding on to weight because it thought it was like a protection mechanism. But the moment I started just like healing my nervous system and healing all those limiting beliefs, I hate this, but to say this, but the weight kind of did fall off. Like it's not like I did all these fancy things.
But I think that's better. It's better than saying, oh, I tried really hard to lose weight because that's the last thing we're trying to promote, right? You weren't actually probably at a healthy weight, and then by healing and being more healthy, the natural kind of flow on from that was losing weight rather than having 5 crackers every day, you know?
Yeah, it's like an inside-out game.
Yeah.
So if you want to exchange the external, you have to heal the internal.
Do you think it would be quite good to use an example? Like maybe, Vic, you could have an example of a limiting belief you have around money.
You know, it'd be really cool if you could tell me a money pattern that you have that you no longer want to have, and I can tell you what your block is.
The harder you work, the more you'll get.
Yeah, so you believe that you have to work really hard for money?
Yeah.
I think this is a very good one to use. Knowing Vic very well, I think this is a good example.
It's more like the more money I want, the longer hours, the harder, the more stress I have to take on essentially to get that outcome.
Okay. So is the desired reality a certain amount in your bank account, a certain amount that you're making? Like what's the goal?
Probably like security, like financial security, that if something happened, I'd still be okay.
Okay, so the desired state is security, like financial
security, financial freedom,
And do you know what that looks like? Is it like a money in your bank account? Is there a reoccurring income? Like, what does that look like for you? How, like, when you get it, how will you know? Okay, I'm secure.
It's probably a regular income. But then, I don't know. Consistency, yeah. I would say probably consistency.
And is there like an amount that it could be?
Like if I got given 100, like if I could choose between a certain amount per month versus an upfront amount, which sounds so contradictory because we're an investing platform, I would probably choose the consistent amount, even if it was slightly less, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just make up a number. Let's say it's £50,000 a month consistently. Yeah. That's your desired reality.
Okay.
Let's say that's your financial freedom. Like,
yes,
check, we're good. I'm no longer stressed. I no longer have to work hard for money.
If I had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but what about not having to work hard to prove yourself is scary?
Say that again. What is not hard?
What about not having to work hard for money? So let's say money just came to you easily and you were financially free and you had like nothing to worry about.
What about it is scary?
Yeah, what about it is scary?
If I was getting £50,000 a month for doing nothing, is that what you're meaning? Because I would feel so guilty.
Yeah, why do you feel guilty?
Because I don't deserve it.
There we go. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh my God, I feel like magic just happened. You know, like a cat just popped out of a hat.
So I'm also like just maybe feeling like growing up, did you get attention through achieving?
A little bit. It was probably more like, why did you get an A, not an A+?
Yeah. So, okay. So then there's a belief that you're never that nothing I do is enough, and that's why you have to work so hard for money.
Yeah.
So the underlying fear and belief is that you're not enough, and that's why you don't believe that you deserve it.
And so the working hard for money is the constant trying to prove
to
myself
that I'm enough.
Yeah.
And that I deserve
that
it.
I'm valuable, that I deserve it.
But you know what? Money has nothing to do with deserving.
I know.
Money is a frequency. Like money is an energy that it's a frequency. It's not a reward. But anyways, I can tell you that all day long and you're like, yeah, whatever, bitch. Like your subconscious mind still is going to fear that. So if you were my client, what I would do now is I would take you through my process called Clear the Fear. And I would clear that belief that you're not enough, because you didn't come here thinking that you're not enough. You learned it over time. It was something that you were programmed through your childhood, thinking like, okay, even when I get an A, it's not enough. And so that's now getting projected into money. Even when I have 20,000, 30,000, nothing is ever enough. So I keep having, and then you're going to burnout, and then you're like sacrificing your life just to chase this dangling carrot that I am enough. And so that's what I like to help my clients reprogram, because you're going to get to the end of your life. You're like, wow, nothing was ever enough. And then I never allowed myself to enjoy, to sit back and just like feel the feeling of being abundant instead of like chasing abundance. And so, yeah, I would recommend doing the track Clear the Fear on I am not enough. And it's like going to change your life.
So the how is what? How is she clearing that fear? Would it be to then think about what does it look like?
No, it's in my app. So I have an app called the Higher Self app, and I have all those tracks pre-recorded. So
you can
it's
listen
my process.
to it.
Yeah, it's my method. It's kind of like a meditation, but it's a meditation that clears your subconscious mind. So it's like meditation on crack.
And I think that is the thing that's really hard is being left alone to your own devices.
No, but it doesn't exist.
Cool. Like I know
now you know what it is. Now go away and fix it. Yeah.
But that's what was bothering me, because I was like, it was like, okay, now I know all my negative beliefs about money, and there's like a laundry list. So I was like, okay, good luck. Like just use hypnosis and see if something changes. I'm like, no, I need a tool that actually works. And like, you're going to text me and you're like, the craziest thing happened, because it goes back to the exact moment that you believed it. And we rewrite the story, because in your subconscious, again, it doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. And so we rewrite that story, and then moving forward, you no longer are seeking and trying to find the fact that you're no longer enough, because you no longer believe that. So you believe that you are enough. So then you only seek I am enough. And so you only see that, because the part of your brain, the reticular activating cortex, it filters out. So anything you believe, it will filter for. So if you have a negative belief, it will find that. And so we take that negative belief, we turn it into a positive. So you start to find the positive belief that they're all, and then that's how all my clients have these. It's like you said, like it's magic, but it's just like your brain just starts focusing on a different thing. It's like when your ex has a car and then you see that car everywhere. It's like that car was always there, but now you're filtering for it. Before it didn't matter. Now, when you start to believe that you're enough, you'll find all the reasons that you are. And then, like, for example, in money, someone's going to be like, oh my gosh, you should help me invest in this business. Then it takes off and then you're financially free.
Wow.
It's so interesting.
I want to go now. Can we wrap this up? I want to go do this.
But it's really interesting because, like, having seen you in a work context.
Yes.
I remember I've said to you before, I'd love to do content on the idea of like what is enough so that people can find their number of what is your goal financially? What's the overarching, for example, is it 2 million? Is it 1? Is it blah, blah, blah? And you've never been able to answer that question for yourself, and therefore we've never been able to do that as a thing.
Because nothing's ever enough.
Because nothing's ever been, no, but that's like kind of why when you were talking, I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting. Because I remember saying to you, like, maybe if you have a tangible number for not you, anyone that listens to this podcast, that's really motivating, because it's almost like an end goal or something you're working towards and make it more tangible. But yeah, it was just, that was what popped up for me. I was like, oh, that's so interesting.
Well, I guess if I came up with, say, £2 million was my enough, and I was on track to get there if I put away £10 a week and it was invested in this, like there would still be part of me that's like, oh, but
when I reach that, I'm still not there.
Or what if X happens and then that gets,
there's always like
voice.
It's
not tangible.
It would never feel like enough. You'd hit that and then you'd make another goal, because you don't believe that you're enough. So then no amount of money will ever feel enough.
Okay, Soph's turn.
Oh my God. Yes. We're going to need like a podcast series of like 5 episodes. Okay. God, I have so many. I'm not even really, I've got a few. One I would say is a hang up of not being valuable, or like having valuable skills, or having things that will make me money, if that makes sense. Because I think I have a belief that the only way really to get wealth is the really traditional path of working in finance or being a lawyer, or I think there's a part of me that believes that. It's almost like not having confidence in myself being the one that could make the money maybe. I think I have a deep-rooted belief, which I hate, and I know is like the opposite of feminism, but the idea of having a partner within a relationship is like a relief financially, not because they're going to pay for me, but having a team or having someone else to help so that it's not 100% on me. I don't know what that is, but I definitely think the idea of being single feels like a real block or scary. Yeah, in terms of what I may or may not be able to do with my life.
What is a desired reality that you want with money?
I don't want to have to think about constantly deciding having this or that, or constantly having to weigh up, can I do this? I feel like a lot of my, even if I've budgeted properly and I've put money in the right places, I am constantly stressed about the fact that I don't have enough within a month to do the things that I want to do.
So if my clients have this pattern of there's just enough, it's this exact same fear. It's that I don't believe that I'm enough. And you said it so many times. You're like, I don't have the skills, so I'm not valuable enough. You say that you need a partner to have money, so I'm not enough to create money. Like in every area of your life, it goes back to the same root cause. The root cause of all of this is that I'm not enough. There's not enough money. They're just getting by. And so it's the exact same thing. And it doesn't surprise me. It's actually the number one thing that I clear with every single client is I'm not enough. And the thing is that think about how we're raised, right? We're in school, and when you get the test back, it's like red, 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 red. We're constantly critiqued. To your point, like you got an A, why didn't you get an A plus, right? So we're constantly in society critiqued. Why are you not enough? And it's so sad, but so many of us have this underlying fear and belief, which is not true. Fear is false evidence appearing real, that we're not enough. And then no amount of money and then a reality is occurring that there's just enough every single month. And so I would invite both of you to do the exact same thing, is clear this belief that I'm not enough.
Some team like meditations, you know, like the whole office we come in every morning and we're like, I am enough.
We can all do it.
Yeah. First you need to clear it. You need to clear the belief, number one, because you can't, like I said, you can't override it. You can repeat it over and over and over, but the most effective, quickest way to do this is just clear it. Using clear the fear.
Do you think the current world and society that we live in terms of social media and having all this information with what's going on in the world, like has helped fuel that feeling of I'm not enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about social media. It's constant comparison. I think like when we were growing up, it was Hollywood. And this is the ideal state of how you should
all wanted to be an actress.
Yeah. Like Britney Spears, you know, it's like this is how you should look. And if you don't look like this, then you're not enough. If you don't have, this is it's programmed in us. This is how much money you should earn. This is what your family should look like. This is what your house needs to look like. This is what your car needs to look like. And if you don't have this, then you are not enough. It's baked into our society, and it's causing us to stay small, stay in scarcity, stay in fear, stay in lack, because unfortunately that benefits society if everyone is in fear all the time.
You mentioned earlier in this conversation that you were in $30,000 worth of debt at one point in your life. That I'm assuming you now know exactly what that limiting belief was, and you worked through it and now are in a way more abundant state financially, but also just how you think about yourself with relation to money. Can you maybe use that as your own example of where you were and how you used these tools and this method to get yourself into a completely different frame of mind?
Yeah. So with debt for me, the way I got out of it is I just made it a non-issue. I made it a non-issue. I set up a repayment program and I just didn't think about it. I didn't make it mean anything about me. And I was pretty young as I was getting out of debt, and I was like learning these tools. And it honestly was this fear of not being enough and this fear of having like addicted to lack. And so when I started to reprogram that, it honestly, again, kind of like the weight, like it just naturally took care of itself. The interesting thing about debt though, is that I see this pattern all the time in my practice, and people will only attract into their life something that there's a hidden advantage to, meaning there's some sort of hidden subconscious benefit to having this in their life.
The belief, the limiting belief.
The reality. So debt. No one wants to have debt. No one consciously wants debt. We can all agree we don't want debt. right? But why do people have debt if they don't want debt? There's some sort of subconscious hidden advantage, like in your belief system, that is attracting the debt because there's some sort of benefit to you having this debt. The only reason why you have something is there's some sort of hidden advantage.
So what on earth would that be with debt though?
No, I have it.
Oh God.
Like, would an example be like, okay, if I'm going to go into debt to buy the nice car because the nice car portrays X about me, or is it kind of, do you know what I mean? Or is that
oftentimes if people don't think that they're enough, they'll try to buy certain things to make them feel worthy and then go into debt. So that can be a pattern. But something that I see really often, it's gonna break your brain. So because I started clearing all my clients of debt and it all came back to the same thing. And for a lot of them, not all of them, it was this pattern where they were financially supported from their parents growing up. And they created this belief around money that if I don't have it, then I'm financially saved from my parents. Then I'm saved from my parents and I receive love from my parents. So they created this reality subconsciously and they're attracting debt and they're creating more debt because subconsciously they believe that's how they are loved by their parents. And so it doesn't make any logical sense because anything in the subconscious is not logical. But now they're 35, 45, 55 and they're holding on to this debt because subconsciously they believe that's how they're going to stay connected to their parents. And I've literally, it's so crazy. Like I'll help my clients clear this on like just what I did with you guys. I'm like, okay, what's the benefit? Like what, if you had this, what are you afraid of? And so many of them would be like, I'm like afraid to be alone if I didn't have debt. And I'm like, okay, that's so interesting. And just like time over time, people all over the world were saying the exact same thing. And I noticed that there was this like universal fear of that they didn't have debt, they would be alone and they wouldn't receive love from their parents. So then when we clear that and we clear the hidden advantage, then the debt no longer exists. Then they would be open to all new possibilities to resolve their debt. Like I had one of my clients, something with their house got remortgaged and then all their debt got paid off. Like it was like all these like things kept happening once they cleared that hidden advantage to holding on to the debt.
Oh my God, why are we so annoying? It's just like the most
it's so
stupid
spooky. It's like
thing.
it's like
It's
How
scary
else?
little children. It's like the little child inside of ourselves that's like so scared and all we want is love and safety. So we do these silly things thinking it's going to give us love and safety, but it's actually creating the reality that we don't want.
I really desperately want to, before we started recording this podcast, something, I can't even remember how this came up. Oh, that's right. We were all singing that song, Where the Hell is My Husband? You know that song?
yeah.
Where I was saying, yeah, let's manifest my husband, like joking. And you said, it's really interesting because money and the way that you relate to a relationship is kind of the same frequency.
Yeah.
I'm like desperate to know the answer to that, like how they're related, because I really think the idea of scarcity or lack for me
comes up in relationships.
probably comes up in both of those places.
Okay, so I want you to dive into that thing that I told you at the beginning about how you relate to your dad's ability to protect and provide for you.
Yes.
That will illuminate so much.
Okay.
When you receive something, if it's money, if it's attention, how does that make you feel?
Really great.
Really good?
Mm-hmm. I get attention. I'm like, oh,
Okay, so what's a habit with men that's occurring that you're not desiring?
emotionally unavailable. Always go for someone that's emotionally unavailable. It's almost like I go for them in the first place. You know?
They're
It's
kind of like a fix it. You like to
yeah, maybe.
yeah, you kind of like to like sorry.
I'm so glad you're piping up here.
You know, like I feel
No, it's
I
fine.
feel like you fish down here when you could fish
I
here.
actually
Sorry.
really agree with that.
You know, like I think there's probably a
agree with
self-worth
that.
of like I need to fish down here,
Yeah.
not up here.
Yeah.
And from a friend
I know what you
perspective.
mean. It's like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm
Okay,
fishing
like if a
fishing in the
prince
creek,
walked in or
not in the
something.
pond.
And he was like amazing, beautiful, successful. You'd be like, oh, no, not for me. No.
Okay, but
You know,
why?
like, yeah.
It's 100% the deserving thing.
So it's the same thing. So
Stunning.
money isn't enough. The men aren't enough. Like you don't feel enough for the men that you don't feel enough for what you desire. And that's your biggest block. So when you clear, your whole life is about to change. Like your whole life is, you're going to text me, I met him. So just to give you a quick example. So I had a client come to me and most clients come to me because they want more money. They want to improve their business. And like that, I love that so much. And I also love talking about relationships because I have a really good success rate helping my clients manifest soulmates. Because again, it's like a similar frequency of just receiving and deserving. And I had a client come to me and she's like, okay, I want to make all this money, but I'm having this pattern reoccurring where I'm attracting these men who don't respect my boundaries. They're being super disrespectful to me just not respecting me as a person, not respecting my time, not respecting what I say. And I was like, okay, there's two things when she says that to me. I say, okay, one, where are you not respecting yourself? Because they're just mirroring how you treat yourself. So she made a list for me, and then she healed all those areas and she started treating herself, her boundaries with respect. So that was number one. Then two, we cleared her fear of being disrespected, and we got back to the moment in childhood that happened. We cleared it. We rewrote the story. 2 weeks later, I get a text from her, and she's like, "You're not going to believe this. I met this guy. Da da da." I was like, "Okay, great." The next, like a couple days later, she sent me a screenshot, and he literally says, like out of nowhere, "I just want to let you know, I really respect you and your boundaries."
You're kidding.
Like, you can't make this up.
Oh my gosh.
Then she also had this thing of like, she had a limiting belief that she's never loved for who she is. And I was like, okay, great. So using neural linking, that tool that I told you about in the beginning, we neural link to how are people respecting my boundaries and how are people loving me for who I am. Yeah, another screenshot. He says, "I just want to let you know I just love you for who you are."
This is
It's
no
like,
way.
I can't make this shit up.
Surely this is like the ad that you need to put on the internet on repeat with like $1 million behind it. Like this one
I
time,
have
my
so many
client.
other stories as well. Like, again, one of my other clients, she's like, "I think it's going to be easier for me to manifest $100 million than my soulmate." And I was like, challenge accepted. Within 2 months, she was engaged.
Don't give me this shit because I reckon I'm going to go away and like be walking down the street like, this person wants to marry me.
Oh.
This person wants to marry me.
I guess just around it, like what would you, not to finish on a negative note, but like what do you say to people that, like you've convinced me. I think Soph was
Vic is a
convinced.
ginormous skeptic.
Yeah.
I almost,
I think you were convinced before we walked in the room and you probably, or you know, like what would you say to people that are like, this is all woo-woo? I do feel like there'd probably be some people in the audience that do feel like there's no hope or do feel like they're in debt, you know, maybe as much as you or more, and are just feeling really stuck. And I know you gave your personal story beforehand, but like,
I think
there's
that's a
still the
really good way.
naysayers.
I think it's a
Yeah.
really good way to finish because
Yeah.
it's really hard to imagine anything better when everything feels super dark.
Totally. I totally get that. I think going home, I was really confronted with that. I feel like when I go home, I'm like, I just like transfer back to that version of me. So I get it so much. I think number one is, you know, if you want to look up the science behind subconscious reprogramming, you're like a scientific person, you want facts. You can look up all that and you can find all the facts for that if that's what you need to hear. To be honest, I'm not here to convince anyone why they need to change. That's not my job. It's not my job to convince you of why you need to change, that life is short. Like, that's not my job. I think that if you have it in you and you're like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm just done with the debt. I'm done with these type of men. I'm done. And I just want a new reality. Try it. Like, you don't have to trust me. You can just try it. Like, you have nothing to lose. And if you go all in on this and if you look at the results, it's impossible for it not to work with you. You have a brain. So it's impossible not to work. And what do you have to lose? My thing is like, yeah, if you want the science behind it, just look at the science of subconscious reprogramming. But I don't want to convince you of why you need to change or why, because I need you to want that for yourself.
I don't think people need, well, maybe they do. I'd say it's a two-parter. There's definitely people that are just really happy burying their head in the sand. But I think a lot of people do want to change. They've just tried lots of things and don't really know.
Totally.
And so probably feel a bit disillusioned by the over bombarding amount of like, do this, do that. Like, we're told in every direction how to get better, how to do this, that maybe they're just a bit desensitized to like, I don't want to get excited and think this could work and it doesn't, or.
Totally.
I think that what have you got to lose though? It's so true.
And
It's
I want to go back to like the root cause. I think a lot of things in society are band-aid solutions. So let's say you have a cut and you have glass in it, right? If we want to heal this wound, I think a lot of tools right now, and this is what frustrated me so much, and this is honestly why I lost my dad, because there's no tool that helped. It was just like putting band-aid, 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 and it didn't work. With subconscious reprogramming, we're literally taking the glass, we're removing it from the wound, we're putting on ointment, we're putting on a band-aid. So it's actually getting to the root cause of the problem, which is you have glass in your hand, right? And the thing about subconscious reprogramming is I feel like it's where meditation was like 5 years ago. So people are kind of like subconscious what?
Oh
but
my God,
promise you,
I was that.
Yeah, I promise you in 5 years, it's all
Everyone's
anyone's going to be speaking about because it actually works.
I
We're
love
ahead of
that.
the curve.
Yeah.
Oh, on brand. No, but
On
I
brand.
do. I actually remember when I first started meditating like 14 years ago, the only reason I did it is because I was in a job where one of the hosts swore by it for creativity.
Yeah.
And so I started doing it. Honestly, I was probably just trying to be like a good employee. And when I would talk about it to people, I would always caveat meditation with like, oh, but I'm not a tree hugger. Oh, but I'm not. Like I was constantly trying to dismiss what I was doing. And now it's so normal if someone says, oh, I'm meditating. Everyone's like, oh yeah, obviously.
It's even like therapy 10 years ago. It's like, why are you in therapy? Like, what's
you must
wrong
be
with
crazy.
you?
Yeah.
Now it's like, I'm my therapist. Like, it's common now.
Everyone's like, oh my God, me too. Yeah.
Like,
okay, so we're getting this. We're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stunning. On brand. Love it.
So, but Marley has to catch a flight.
Yeah, we've got to wrap it up.
we have to let her go. I would love to sit here and go through all my limiting beliefs about money.
we'll do a
cancel
part
the
2.
Day for the next like 3 weeks.
Honestly. But if people want to learn more about Clear the Fear, aka me, what do I do?
There's 2 people in the room.
Where do I go? How do I sign up? Yeah.
So we have the Higher Self app. It's the first subconscious reprogramming app on the App Store. And it's called Higher Self. And there's a concierge. So you can say, hey, like I'm Soph, this is everything that I'm dealing with. And we'll create a custom protocol for you. And you can use it within the app. And then all this stuff that I speak about, you can find me at Marley Rose Harris across all channels. And then we have the Money Mindset Mission Show podcast.
You are amazing.
Can't wait
Thank
to
you
be
so
getting
much.
£50,000 a month.
Yeah.
Thank
Still
you
probably
so
not
much.
enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That
You were
was-
next in London. Let's do a part 2.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And Soph will bring along her soulmate.
Why don't we make this? Oh my God, yeah. Okay. Vic can bring along her £50 that she's earned for the last 12 months.
50,000.
That's right. Yeah. £50. Things will get
And you
worse.
can bring your ring.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'll bring my ring.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Imagine. Thank you so much for listening to Raising the Curve. These conversations are designed to teach you everything you need to know to be better with your money, from saving to investing to talking with your friends about your salaries, all of that stuff.
And if you like what you heard, we would love if you could please hit subscribe wherever you're listening and leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about the episode.
And it only takes 1 second and it would really make our week, our month, our year.
Yeah.
So please do it. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Okay, quickly. The Curve was created to empower and educate you about investing, but we are not financial advisors.
Our platform exists for educational purposes only, and it doesn't provide personalized investing advice for your individual needs and should not be relied upon to make an investment or financial decision.
And always remember to do your own research before making any investment or financial decision.
We're here for any knowledge and support you need, but the final call is always yours.
And thanks for being here.
You got this.
Yeah, we know you got this.